While continuing to serve and give back to the disabled community, the doc has been recognized as an author, TV host, writer, filmmaker, etc., etc. His latest children's books he wrote last year entails a young little boy in a wheelchair who has a fun and colorful story. So please welcome back to the spotlight the author of Flowers, Horses, Kittens, and it's Flowers, Ballet, Horses, and a Kitten.
Come on, let's get it
Dr.
right now.
Truett Vaigneur. Our own version of Dr. Phil, Dr. Truett Vaigneur.
I can't live up to that introduction.
So, listen.
Especially, forget about the mistake. I love the etc. part.
Because you are one of our own. You're the only doctor that's our Dr. Phil, basically.
Right.
You know?
I'll take it.
Yes. Yes. So listen, Doc, in your book, you talk about a lot of things in your book. Flowers, horses, kitten, ballet, a boy in a wheelchair. I'm doing that thing where it's no sleep, butts, club,
Lady Gaga.
another club, Lady Gaga. But what was your overall idea and message when you wrote this book last year about a boy in a wheelchair with a colorful story, and why Wesley?
Why? Well,
Why name Wesley?
why the name? Oh, wow!
Yes.
That's the first time I've been asked that question. We work on this very set, which is where my show is also filmed with a great photographer. My show, to answer his question inadvertently, I have a show here, Disabilities Redefined with Dr. Vaigneur, and we do a lot of fashion shows here. And the photographer is named Wesley. So, yeah, so I just named him Wesley. That was it. The purpose of the book is normalization. It's very, this little boy, Wesley, is he is a cerebral palsy, but that's not the focus. The focus is that he is allergic to flowers. His mother is a fashion model. He's allergic to flowers, so his mother one day comes in with a hat that is made of artificial flowers, and he realizes that he can touch artificial flowers. So he then starts making hats inspired by her hat and becomes a great hat designer, all before reaching first grade. So, yeah.
Go for it.
Yes.
So normalization really is there.
Yes. So how would you describe the normalization with what's going on currently with the disabled community after, like, with writing this book? It's like you're dealing with a lot of normalization. Boy in the wheelchair, flowers here, but what about in terms of the other things that you mentioned, like ballet, horses, and a kitten?
Well, that's just his life's trajectory. Like his dad is a horseback rider. Okay, flowers obviously has a part in it. His sister is a ballet dancer. All kids have things in their lives. Yeah, I mean everybody does. Every child does. Disabled or able, all kids and as well as it should be, right? There you go. So
Absolutely.
that was pretty much the message. As far as what's going on, that's a big philosophical question.
Yeah.
So much going on with the disabled population in Hollywood, in fashion, and journalism, and it's a great time, but it is a time that I think in 10 years it will be very well noted in history, especially in the media, because the disabled population they are having a voice, and as we know, that takes time. The American with Disabilities Act is out, and it is doing its job, but then again, the ADA is only a law. The American with Disabilities Act protects the disabled population from discrimination. That is a law. The disabled population has to act on that law. They have to go get work. They have to go to college and produce. So whenever I hear people say, oh, if it wasn't for the ADA, the disabled population wouldn't be where they are, that's that's horse. Let's use the word horse. Horse, that's horse again.
That's also
That's a
dogs
pile
and
of
cats
horse.
as well.
Yeah, exactly.
you know?
Because the disabled population, they are the ones doing it.
And was you able to like promote the book at some like disability organizations to get children reading?
Another very
Which is
good
very
question.
important that you
People
did
get in
that.
touch with me about
That's
things. I'm
good.
really not good when it comes to social media and I mean, I'm 54, soon will be 54 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So that whole generation is not my generation. You kids up here are probably pretty good when it comes to social media. So I post, and every so often, someone will get in touch, like Mount Sinai, they wanted copies.
That's wonderful.
We're talking to some things right now going on that I can't talk about because it hasn't come to fruition. So do I promote myself? I'm horrible with promoting myself. But it gets out there. I mean, it's under Archway, which is a division of Simon & Schuster. So it goes out there. It's in the public. Yeah.
And it gets children reading, so which is a good thing, and it's a beautiful book.
Well, it is a very good book. It's a good book for first graders.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see a movie in Tribeca.
Yes, because Ann Norberg illustrated the book, and you've worked with her on that book, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So, what was the connection with the establishment with the book where Ann Norberg as her illustrating the book the connection between the two?
Well, I mean, I don't like to speak for other people, whenever they're not here.
Yeah.
But I wanted to use an artist from down south. For some reason, with this book, I just wanted to use an artist from down south. And so I got in touch with the Savannah College of Art and Design, and they sent me a list of illustration artists up and coming. Wow. And I went through interviews with every one of them and gave them a fair shot, and she was the one I chose.
Were the interviews hard?
Yes, of course, absolutely. I like giving people a break. I do like to give people a break, and I am a career counselor. That's the day job. I work at the City University of New York. Love my job, counseling disabled students. Career counseling. I'm a career counselor. So in that respect, any time I can give someone a break and get their resume and get that resume up and running and give somebody a job, especially in the art field. I think you are all artists up here in one capacity or another, right? Actors, models, whatever.
In our own way, yeah.
In their own, yeah. So in that respect, we know. Well, I don't know anymore, but you all are in the field now. That's been years ago since I've done any of that. But it's tough. So anytime I can give someone a break and give back to the community, I like to do it.
Yeah. You touched base earlier within the Hollywood industry because, there's a couple points I want to bring up here, because one of them where we talked about the Oscars earlier, and I know I didn't get a chance to mention it because there was, I believe, a deaf actor that won an Oscar for his performance.
Yes, Coda. Coda.
So, what was your response when you saw that happen? Because obviously, it's like there's not much we're hearing about the deaf people in today's generation, but what's your response?
Well, yeah, absolutely, and there was just not there was also a nomination for a short,
right.
Audible,
Yes.
which was about deaf football players, which actually the director was actually on my show, and he is not deaf. He just one of his best friends is deaf, so he just wanted to chronicle and share the stories of this amazing football team who are all deaf going to in Maryland, for the School of Deaf. So in that respect, anytime you can get press, I hate to use a cliche, but when they say all press is good press, what is it back in the 1950s Hollywood? They wanted to say any press is good press or whatever. I believe that's the case within the disabled population.
Yes.
Because if you're going to get press, people will pay attention and notice you, and then your voice will be heard.
Right.
Okay.
And you also were working on a short film because even when you're helping out with the disabled population, and you and I have talked about this backstage, where in terms of where you've received horrible threats on social media about that.
Can I clutch someone for support?
Yes, but you're kind of working on a film based on that. So you want to tell us about that?
I'm working on a script.
Right.
I'm working on a script based on that. Yeah, listen, I am not disabled. I'll be the first one to say it. My voice does not mean half as much in the movement as those people who are disabled. If you are going to make progress within any minority group, the voices of the minority group have got to be heard. That is the way it is, and I do not have a problem with that. I have been attacked several times on social media, like, who do you think you are? I've been screamed at in the street here in New York that you can walk. Like, people see the show and then they'll see me bopping around town, and it's like, you can walk. What are you, I'm like, I never, why are you, I never said I couldn't walk. Who said that, So people do have this, I guess you could say, stereotype of advocacy within the disabled population. But I will say that I do respect and appreciate all disabled people because of their tenacity and their strength to stand up for their disabled identity. Because that's usually the way it starts off with, you don't understand, I don't understand. So if I'm ever attacked for being a strong disabilities advocate and not being disabled myself, I have to step back and say, that's coming from somewhere, and let's only hope it's coming from a good place, right?
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. So
Yes.
there you go. So let's hope it's coming from a good place.
Yes, hope is really coming from a good place, and you are the legend that is on this good place to be heard. And you know what that show is. That's the spotlight. Thank you, Dr. Phil, for everything. You know what I mean, Dr. Truett. But listen, give him a good hand here with,
Thank you so much for coming.
Special thanks to
Good to see
Dr.
you
Truett
again.
Vaigneur. His latest children's book, Flowers, Ballet, Horses, and a Kitten. I finally got it right this time. It's a must-see read for family and friends, a book that will uplift you and motivate you. And we'll be right back, y'all.